Those two words came out of the veteran's mouth like a thunderclap, freezing the entire steakhouse in stunned silence. No one knew why he said them. No one knew who he said them to. But by the end of that night, those words would save a man's life, and change a town forever. The veteran's name was Daniel Hayes, a single father and a quiet man who carried the weight of service in his eyes. He didn't speak much about his past, but anyone who looked closely could tell he had seen more than most men should. His hands were scarred, his back straight despite years of hardship, and the tattoo on his arm, a worn eagle with a folded flag, spoke of battles fought and brothers lost. Daniel wasn't just a soldier, he was a protector, though he'd tell you he was just a father doing his best for his little girl, Emily. That night at the steakhouse, Daniel had only one goal: to give Emily a rare treat. She was 11, her hair tucked in a messy braid, her smile brightening Daniel's weary soul. They didn't have much money, but tonight was special. She had gotten the highest grade in her class, and Daniel promised her steak. The restaurant was buzzing, families laughing, couples clinking glasses, the smell of grilled sirloin filling the air. At the far end of the room sat Police Chief Robert Mallory, a man known in town as strict but fair. He had a reputation for being hard as steel, yet even harder on himself. Many feared him, but few truly knew him. Daniel only knew of him from a distance. Tonight, though, fate had a way of putting lives on the same path. It happened fast. One moment, Chief Mallory was raising his glass in a toast with colleagues, the next, his face twisted in horror. He clutched his throat, eyes bulging, a strangled noise escaping as he staggered back from the table. The room erupted in panic, people shouting, someone calling 911, waiters frozen in fear. Daniel was on his feet before Emily even gasped. Years of combat training, years of reading danger before it struck, snapped into place. He rushed forward, his voice sharp, commanding, directed at the chief. Don't talk. At first, no one understood. But Daniel had seen it before, too many times overseas. The chief wasn't just choking, something was wrong. His lips were swelling, his skin breaking out in angry red blotches. This wasn't food stuck in his throat, it was anaphylaxis. A deadly allergic reaction. If Mallory tried to speak, if he wasted what little breath he had, it could finish him faster. Daniel knelt beside him, steady as a rock, his voice calm but firm. Stay still. Focus on breathing. I've got you. He turned to the stunned officers around. EPI pen. Now. Check his bag, jacket, anywhere. Nobody moved. They were too shocked, too lost in the chaos. Daniel locked eyes with Emily. My kit. Backpack. Hurry. She darted from their booth like lightning, tears streaking her face but her small hands steady. She knew her dad carried a first aid kit everywhere, an old soldier's habit. The chief's face was purple now, his breaths ragged. Daniel's hands worked fast, tearing open the kit, pulling the injector free. Without hesitation, he jabbed it into Mallory's thigh. The man jolted, a harsh gasp tearing from his chest. Seconds stretched into eternity before his breathing eased, just enough for color to creep back into his cheeks. The room was silent again, but this time in awe. The police chief, feared and respected, had been saved by the quiet single dad no one really noticed before. But the story didn't end there. Because as Mallory caught his breath, as paramedics finally rushed through the doors, Daniel noticed something others had missed. When Mallory's jacket had slipped open, a flash of papers tucked inside caught Daniel's eye. They weren't ordinary reports. They were photographs, dark, grainy, and damning. Men in uniform. A secret meeting. Money exchanged in shadows. Daniel's instincts screamed. This wasn't just about a medical emergency. Something dangerous, something corrupt was at play. Mallory saw the recognition in Daniel's eyes. And in that split second, Daniel understood why the chief had been alone tonight, tense even before the reaction struck. He was carrying a secret that could tear the town apart. Later, when the crowd thinned and Mallory was being loaded into the ambulance, he reached for Daniel's arm, his voice weak but clear. You weren't supposed to see that. Daniel didn't flinch. You're alive because you didn't talk. Maybe that's what you need to keep doing. Until you're ready to bring this out the right way. Their eyes met, soldier and lawman, both burdened by truth. Daniel gave a nod, the kind only men who've seen the darkness can share. And Mallory, for the first time in years, felt the weight of his secrets lift, just a little. When Daniel returned to Emily, She wrapped her small arms around him, whispering, "Daddy, you saved him." He kissed her forehead, holding her close. Sometimes saving someone isn't just about keeping them alive, Sometimes it's about giving them the chance to do what's right. The steakhouse buzzed with whispers of the quiet man who saved the police chief. The story spread across town, but Daniel didn't care for recognition. All he cared about was Emily, her hand in his, walking into the night with pride shining in her young eyes. And so the lesson lingered, not just for Emily, not just for Mallory, but for everyone who heard the story. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just two words spoken in the right moment. Don't talk. If this story moved you, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe for more stories that remind us, heroes aren't born in headlines. They're made in quiet moments when the world needs them most.